I've been waiting a long time for this. Hello, my little weeblets, and welcome to Tower of Fantasy, an MMORPG set in the distant future in which my very first fantasy was to attempt to play the game at all, and the tower was built out of my own frustrations. Maybe if I just download all 49 gigs again. Then I can... Oh, no, guess not. After finally reinstalling the game for the third time, I have passed the trial of the lolly and I am finally free to log into my account. Yes, the horrible truth comes out. I've played this before, but fear not, we won't miss a thing, as the game remembers me and has taken the liberty of deleting all of my save data. So here we are, back at the beginning again, and I have the choice to play as John or Jane Anime, protagonist for the ages. Personally, I struggle with minor and major decisions alike, but I think I'll go with John, because I want to make him look silly. Now I just need a perfect name. And... damn it. More fitting than before, damn it! Nice. Very original. Now, after leaving Jane in the capable paws of Cerberus, we find that we have hounds of our own to deal with. Vicious creatures that change their mind just a little too late to live.
Figure out how to get out of here.
And you're doing great. So after a few more tutorials and heartwarming scenes of playing with Fido, what a shame I keep blinking during the cutscenes, we give him the gift of a permanent bath, and are free to beat up the radiation zombies. After popping open a well-hidden crate, we come to a real bridge in the path because our radiation shield apparently runs on a single 9-volt battery, and I've already stolen all the ones from my smoke detectors. But it's A-okay because the 3D people are here, and they've got a plan for us.
Take them away and wipe their memory.
Get this bitch to the tutorial, and make it plot convenient. It's here that we meet the plotline and her brother Zeke, who just so happens to also be a plotline. Zeke is clearly very cool, but he still cares for his sister very much, because he's cool. His sister Shirley is a total sweetheart, and is too good for the universe she was born into. Funnily enough, if you listen closely, you can still hear the dissonant whispers of the writers as they try to figure out the best way to torture her. After getting back the sword I'll no doubt replace in 2 minutes, we're introduced to another main character who's a floating orb and nothing more. I appreciate the return to being guided by a circle. It tickles my nostalgia. Though I don't remember Kakariko being so, lively. Well, check it out. It even gets a cool robot from... God damn it. Well, so long as it doesn't speak in third person, we should be fine. With the squad introduced, we're finally free to head into camp and use their skeleton melter to ruin our immersion permanently. I'm going to assume that they knew you could do this, but they decided to rely on the honor system. Unfortunately, I have about as much honor as I have self-respect. Oh god, it gets worse. I think I'll go with almost human, please. Can't have people running before I reach kissing distance. With our evolved skeletal structure, we're now free to disturb the locals with our presence. For you see, Astra Shelter is a beautiful and diverse community with its own heartwarming culture. Or at least that's what it said on Airbnb. If heartwarming culture means having a rule where you're required to street justice execute any family member who gets infected in front of the entire rest of the cult, then yes, just ask the victim wall. It's brimming with good vibes. I'm sorry, Shirley, but your J's are fake. As far as diversity goes, there is, Mela none. Well, maybe Mela 1. Maybe. It's a hard maybe. One of such lovely cult members is Uncle Paulu.
Morning, Uncle Paul.
Oh, my mistake. This is Uncle Paul. The spelling must be bullshittian. Uncle Paul cared to do his tasks as much as he cared to sign his name, so he's looking kinda sus. But don't worry, the truth is, he's just an alcoholic. Crisis averted. Luckily, we have public service Lolly to talk some sense into him. If only it didn't feel so strangely personal.
Analysis. Long-term consumption of alcohol is hazardous to physical health.
Why do you keep looking at the camera like that? Don't judge me. I'm an adult. I'll do what I want. Maybe I'd actually get my steps in if I could gather data myself, instead of going on tour rides all day. It'd be really cool to walk around and do this myself. Whatever. Anyway, we finish the search, return to Paul, and that's hungry work, I guess. I'm gonna get me a sandwich. But oh, how miserable. We can't, because the space rift is broken. Beating the aberrant senseless? Check. Fix big science with my smooth little brain? Nah, we don't do that. Well, Shirley, let's go find some dirt to eat. I hear the good stuff is up by the cemetery.
Fix the space rift? No biggie. We can do that.
Oh, okay. No biggie. Duh, it's common knowledge, obviously. At least Shirley knows what she's doing.
About the space rift. It's It's best if my brother doesn't find out, okay?
Maybe not. I'm sensing a trend.
Uncle Paul says it uses omnium to break things down for transmission and reassemble them at the other end.
Huh? So am I still me if I was broken down and reassembled?
I used it a couple of times, and I still feel like me.
I don't think he's buying it, Shirley. This is a man who sees snakes in the walls.
Easy as pie. Now we just need to test it to make sure it's working fine. Leave the testing to me.
I'm not sure that's such a good idea.
Don't worry, I'll be fine. Get away from me! Oh! I hate bugs! Ah!
Throw block. Fight bot. Upgrade a weapon in the middle of the fight. Surely this lesson will apply outside of the tutorial. Hold on, guys. I just need to get these... Overall, the combat of the game plays out pretty unga. It is a phone-compatible game, after all. The fight plays out exactly as the genre dictates. You have 3 weapons that each have their own combos, as well as an ability that has a short cooldown. The recipe goes as such. Beat baddie with weapon A. For a while. Use ability when able. Then switch to weapon B. This triggers a special swap attack. Then you continue mashing with weapon B, and repeat the process. There are air attacks and combos to mix into the fight, as well as a dodge system that slows down time upon successfully avoiding damage, but the timing on the dodge itself felt arbitrary at best. It's simple enough to work for a while, but after the 4th enemy, I found myself wanting a bit more. Speaking of enemies, the first faction you'll be fighting is a band of scavenging bandits that just so happens to consist of every vertically challenged human on the planet. I don't feel like I'm the good guy here, and I'm 100% not punching up. I'd be pissed too if the only thing keeping me out of Astra's shelter was a sign with poor taste. In all reality, it is odd that all the bad guys are either poor or just not conventionally attractive. Oh well, it's definitely not a sign of things to come. Right. That aside, we continue our streak of never listening to Dr. Cool McSchool. And travel to an Omnium Tower to repair yet another broken device.
Well, when I came here with Uncle Paulu...
Whoa, no. I heard that. You can't take it back now. Don't you try to slip one past me. He's Paul now. You can't take that back.
Did Paulu bring you here?
Did they really realize they messed up before and just said, screw it.
Paulu.
We ain't going back.
Paulu.
Just say Paulu from now on. Nobody really cares.
Paulu?
Uncle Paulu.
Well, damn it, they're right, but I'm still calling him Paul. Tutorial Bot asks us for a favor of the likes you'd never believe. More broken equipment, which causes our character to become sentient and do their best to break the cycle. Please, just let me go. I'm ready. We reach broken thing number 43 and take our time to diversify our abuse portfolio a little. We can't forget about robot animals, can we? Try me, Peter. We both know you have no power here. Finally, we unlock the ability to participate in illegal weapon trade. How kind of them to give me the blood money necessary for our first try. Yep, it's a gotcha game. I mean, you knew just by looking at it, didn't you? The combat, the art style, the immense number of characters who are 90% female. Oh boy, my favorite game. Let's see. Mommy, mommy, lolly, mommy, mommy, lolly.
I am listening.
I knew you would pick me.
Wait a minute. Do I know you from somewhere? Of course, there is the minimum number of males required, and boy, are they...
Do you need me? I mean, if you do, it must be serious. Anyway, I'm ready.
There. Everyone does have
Boosting
little
power.
fun introduction lines,
you
so that's
done?
pretty charming, and...
Do you have the money?
Come on, man, you know I'm poor, don't be like that. Though you do sound like a proper man of God. Each character has their own weapon and skill set that changes the way you fight. You can even choose whether or not you want them to show up when you switch out. So if you're like me and you want to see your beautiful baby while you play, there's nothing stopping you. One thing that will stop you, however, is the sheer amount of menus there are to navigate if you want those little red dots to go away. I can't recall how many times I got lost in these things trying to find a certain page, let alone it took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to find out how to get to these ones in the top right. The only way I could find, after pressing all the buttons on my keyboard, was to press Enter, the same button used for the chat feature. I mean, I guess? Challenges, free gifts, events, hell, I even ended up in Mommy Mansion at one point. Oh, is that blood?
Shush.
Jesus, lady, I don't think he was gonna say anything. Poor lad didn't stand a chance. It's a common issue for MMOs to just be flat out overwhelming for newcomers, especially if they've already been out for a few years. Mix that with phone game menus, and you've got a pretty harsh recipe to remember. After finally ridding myself of notification chickenpox, oh god, it's back so fast. It's finally first dungeon time, which was there. The first dungeon of a game can either make or break whether or not a person's gonna play more or call it quits. It's your first experience of what you can expect future challenges to look like. Not to mention, it's the face of casual grind for most MMOs. This one was 100 milligrams of melatonin with whiskey, and no, I will not elaborate. Obviously, you want to keep it simple, but when all the challenges consist of pressing 3 to activate the new missile launcher you got, which you don't actually control, and minorities you've oppressed too many times already to enjoy it anymore, it feels like an inconvenience instead of a challenge. There was a new feature introduced in which strong enemies can be interrupted when executing large attacks, which in turn allows you to mount them and give them a good old 1-2 Julius Caesar treatment. So that was at least new. We'll come back to this guy later, because he will be back. We take our pittance and leave and get caught in the awkward center of a sibling squabble. Please stop, guys, my mom's not here to pick me up until 12. Shirley takes off, Zeke feels bad, but in a cool way, and it's up to us to go check on her.
Please take care of Shirley for me. It's raining. I don't want her to catch a cold.
Aw, okay. I can appreciate a nice older brother. Hey, actually, I remember this part. I still have footage of this from the last time I played. Only this time my character isn't as bad as he was before.
Zeke?
I know. I shouldn't have acted recklessly and made him mad.
Let's apologize to him after the rain stops. What was that?
Look out!
What happened?
You look like you have something to say.
I think I made a marked improvement. Thus, the battle for Astra Shelter begins, and god, yes, finally, the chance to hit something without feeling bad. As you can see, the battle is brutally intense, so we need to activate Paul's robots to defend ourselves.
Would you look at that?
They're falling back!
Good optimism, Shirley. This is the first fight in the game that felt like actual combat. Finally, a reason to dodge and to try a combo. For once, it feels like I'm fighting an enemy on equal footing.
Just you wait.
Oop, my man lost an onion ring. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Get ready.
Hey, look, everybody, I found the melanin. The bad guys must have taken it all. That's not even the same guy. Am I nitpicking? No, I'm not nitpicking. There is not a single ounce of color in these characters. Oh, wait. I may have spoken too soon. See, that's my bad. I guess I was too quick to... No! Look, I know people hate having to recognize shit like this, and that this is the point in the video where attention drops like a bricked puppy, but Jesus, man! You can argue that not having diversity in the cast isn't a big deal when you can make an avatar, because it's great being the only non-white kid in school. But when half the enemies on my screen are supposed to be black, you can't play that off. Passive racism aside, we fight for what's white and retake the bridge. Unfortunately, standing in explosions is way cooler than dodging them, and Shirley underestimates Zeke's power. She uses the power of Duracell to save her brother, but forgot her portable charger at home, leaving her exposed to the radiation. Zeke finds this quite uncool.
Shirley!
Since the rest of the cutscene is absent today, the words of God fill us in on the plot. Shirley, you can now play as Luigi. Now that Shirley has contracted the purpling plague, the race is on to...
I'm feeling a little hungry. Could you get me something?
Go get her food. I mean, that's fair. Dying takes a lot out of you, and if you don't get to eat 3 healthy meals a day, that damn lolly won't shut... Oh, that little shit. She's trying to eat the cemetery dirt without me! Although, If I don't go up there and advance the plot, Shirley won't die. Well, you have fun, Shirley. Best to let her get acquainted anyway. We, on the other hand, have a world to explore. Well, a portion of the world, that is. The truth is, we're in a part of the game I like to call the dumb baby zone. A small, sectioned off part of land in which we can be as stupid as we want with little to no consequence. It's like that funny little padded room they kept me in after the murders. It's also riddled with tutorials, passive and aggressive. Despite the larger room to play, most of the area looks pretty much the same. Wait a minute, I've seen this shack before. Oh god, I've entered white suburbia. The terrain falls under the same umbrella problem as Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Yes, this is a lot of space to play in, but there's nothing here. Well, aside from that damn house again! There are rewards out here, but it's nothing worth noting, and they feel randomly placed. It's more like they felt something had to be there, so they just plopped a chest down. Small variations of terrain are speckled here and there, but aside from that, it's mostly mountains, plateaus, or both. Wow, God really hates peaks, huh? Or is it just tops? After adding overweight to our list of evil traits and grinding for new weapons that were essentially useless, I decided I didn't want to exist on this planet anymore, and probably neither does Shirley. To progress the plot! We head back to Shirley, who's been hanging out at the graveyard for a suspiciously large amount of time. In my experience, the only people who hang around in graveyards this much are necrophiliacs and the goths, and my brother in Christ, she is not wearing black. But this isn't the time for funnies because Shirley is dead. Again.
I didn't want to make Zeke sad.
Shirley, are you okay?
What am I gonna do?
Shirley! Shirley!
And Zeke is fashionably late. Our only hope is to contact the suspicious ones and brave the unskippable cutscene, though I guess you can still play the game in the background. Where am I? Oh well, back to Astra's shelter. Does anybody else ever get the unstoppable urge to grab something on the way home? I can't put my finger on it, but I'm really craving a torch and a pitchfork right now. Oh, yep, that explains. Has been a minute since the last witch hunt.
You have to do it, Zeke. There's no time.
Everyone calm down.
I don't know, Zeke.
You made the rules.
They seem pretty chill already. The rest of the cult urges Zeke to invoke the right of Sisterus Blasticus, as foretold in the ancient scrolls of street justice. Zeke's too cool for that though, and takes a shot at God instead.
Enough. Everyone leave.
Tough luck, buddy. We'll get him next time. With the power Whisper Force gone, Zeke is left with only one option remaining. Condemn his sister to a life of doing the robot with 3D and the Sunder gang.
A new life? As what, a clone? Droid? Or maybe something like you?
Damn, bro. Watch the finger. Oh, god damn it. Now she has to process that.
Zeke, I pray you know what you're doing.
I'm gonna bring her home.
That's really cool, Zeke, but you're going the wrong way. I thought I was finally free, but unfortunately for us, Franz stole the plot from Zeke on his way out, so we're stuck with him now. To sum up the rest of the introduction to the game, Paul asks every question I didn't. Free motorbike, free lolly, free manslaughter, and just to top it all off, one more invasion. For the giggles of it. They came back better prepared this time, but it certainly did them no good. I've been hit harder by pool toys. Ah yes, time for Pool Noodle Deathmatch. You get the blue one, I'll take the unregistered one. He may be a bloodthirsty mutated mercenary, but on the bright side at least he has a cool name. Or it's just a word and I'm dumb. Oh no shit, he's a blues artist. That or a small Arabic town, but I'm choosing to believe the one that doesn't fit the ongoing theme of racism here. The name-dropped Tower of Fuckery allows us to finally leave the dumb baby zone and move on to Space Britain, where we are promptly oppressed and threatened by stronger technology. Subtlety. Realizing I never quite finished cooking, they toss me back in the microwave and call it a day. Big thanks to Master Chef Elric, who, much like real political leaders, I'm convinced is either an alien or a puppet.
There is no confirmation of what happened to our returned executor.
Forgetting to move the mouth. Rookie ventriloquism. The space Christians recognize us and want us to finish something they started, and with that, we close this chapter of the introduction to the game. And then the game assaulted me with a Vietnam flashback of the entirety of its plot. Too bad the government forgot to put a spoiler warning on this bad boy. For some reason, the game just thrust me into Act 2. I don't know how I got here, and I am just as confused as I would have been had I played the game to this point.
Memory extractors are able to evoke your memories fully and back them up. At least according to Archon Elric.
It feels like I blacked out.
How much time has passed since you officially returned to Hykros?
About half a year?
What did I miss?
We still have a lot of things we need to do together.
Why are you here? The game even knows I'm still on Chapter 1. This is premeditated. Well, who am I to argue with? Of course. I must first finish Vera to access Vera. I am the fool. Despite spoiling its own plot in about 30 seconds, I still found myself coming back to the game and genuinely enjoyed it. Albeit because I needed footage, but still, I enjoyed it all the same. I took on some of the other dungeons and was rather impressed with the relic system afterwards. Turns out there's a bunch of these little things that do all kinds of different stuff. Hell, I even went out of my way to complete some of the map percentage rewards, which actually rewarded me with more permanent stamina and other gifts. Given it's a mere invisible crumb of stamina, but I'm desperate. I also learned that I wasn't crucified to Baby Island either, and that I could have left at any moment. Demoralizing, but good to know. There's this pretty little archipelago that takes you out onto the main landmass, which is actually quite nice. There's a lot more variation here, as well as new enemies, which still don't measure up. I once again feel like I'm kicking infants, but just like actually kicking infants, the guilt will not stop me. Overall, the game has a lot of spirit behind it that I truly can't deny. Despite the incredibly rough start, I bet the game is great on its native servers, or at least the writing. There are other games in this style with bigger fan bases, and more time in the oven for that matter, but unlike certain games, there's no arbitrary level requirement to actually play with a friend before you realize the multiplayer sucks. Not calling out anyone in particular, of course, but it might rhyme with Genshin Impact. Who knows? Maybe I'll come back to this game eventually. After the therapy and head trauma kick in.